Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce saying, Joyce, it's what we've been waiting for. The mailbag episode.
Who's been waiting for this?
Many handful of listeners who wrote in
A
kindly.
handful, so five.
No, we had many real emails. I remember a couple weeks ago, I posited that I would just make up emails, Joyce. But I'll tell you what, all of these are legitimately emailed.
Wow.
They were all emailed to us at slugfest
We'll,
at
we'll,
Gold
we'll
Derby.
need someone to vet that too.
Well, you got to take my word for it. No, but they are real. Are they? No, they're real. They're real emails. These are real emails from real viewers and listeners, Joyce. Um, so yeah, we're recording this before Christmas, but we're running this next week. The magic. I'm pulling the curtain back a little bit, Joyce.
It's the dead week.
It's a dead week. We're getting ready for New Year's probably at this point for us.
What do
Maybe.
you think you'll be doing at this time?
Wow, who could even guess? Probably watching Paw Patrol or
Love Paw
Octonauts,
Patrol.
which is another good show on Netflix. Wait until next year when I start my Best Kids Shows podcast. It's gonna be great.
You should do that. We should have your daughter on.
Yeah,
To
she'd be
do
great.
predictions.
Yeah, she'd probably
We
do
already
better than
know she
me.
was bored by Lightyear,
Oh man, she could not stand Lightyear.
so
Walked
we
out.
need her animated feature picks.
Walked out. Straight up. We walked out. She's like, Dad, let's go home. No emails here about animated feature choice, though. We're gonna start with Daniel, a loyal listener and viewer who writes, Hi, Joyce and Chris. I love your show. At 1 hour plus, they're great to accompany a workout, although far too often I just stop and stand listening to you, forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow, I'm sorry. We're ruining your reps, Daniel.
And here's the question.
That's not our intention.
Here's the question. Am I the only one who finds it odd that potentially 5 Best Picture nominees this year might not have their screenplays nominated as well? He's saying, I think Top Gun, Elvis, Avatar, RRR, Babylon, or The Woman King. Am I thinking about Best Picture all wrong? Am I thinking about screenplay categories all wrong? Or is it just the way it is this year? That's Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for the note. What do you think, Joyce? I actually have a couple of these movies in my screenplay prediction.
I know. We know you put in Avatar last week.
You still have it in there. And it's still in there. It's still in there today. And I think I will say this. I think of those movies, one of these will probably get in as a screenplay nominee.
Well, as we know, Adapted is weak.
Yes.
So I wouldn't rule out like Top Gun.
So Top Gun and Avatar would be adapted.
An Avatar.
An Avatar.
I don't know, because for almost a decade we've just had the sliding scale, so it wasn't like a hard 10.
Right.
So like chances are, I mean, I haven't looked, but chances are there was more overlap between writing and the eight or nine
sure
Best Picture nominees. I don't think it's weird necessarily. I think that's just kind of like the tastes of the writing branch, that we think like they might gravitate towards like different types of scripts and maybe like higher brow scripts too. And then some of these are sequels.
Some of these are sequels. I mean, I'll go through my category right now, and I probably will not change this within the next week. So I feel pretty confident just being like, here's what it is. For adapted screenplay, I have Glass Onion, which I have in for Best Picture, a sequel, but I think a strong contender for adapted screenplay nomination because the original was nominated as screenplay and people do like the movie. Women Talking for Sarah Polley. I have She Said in there as well, and then Living and Avatar. So She Said and Living are 2 movies that I think could have been Best Picture contenders, but don't seem like they really are. And maybe because, especially this year, there are those big blockbuster movies, right? Like that are
not very writerly.
Right. So. And then for original, I have Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. 4 of those 5, I think, would get in for Best Picture pretty clearly.
Yeah, like for adapted, I have Women Talking, Glass Onion, She Said, Living, and I still have White Noise. I put it back in.
Sure.
As sort of like the Inherent Vice type of nom.
Mm-hmm.
And then original, I have Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. Right. So,
I get the feeling like, for me, like if Elvis was I also think it's just like we said, adapted is pretty light, Joyce. I think if one of these movies happened to be adapted, it would like I could imagine Elvis easily getting in the adapted screenplay category. Like if it was a adapted from a not like a biography or anything, right? Like if they could just fudge it and say like it's an adapted screenplay, like it would easily probably get in because I think it is a top tier best picture contender, and it would just be like a filler nomination in the category that's pretty soft.
Yeah. It's sort of like last year original was kind of weak too. It would sort of be like King Richard, which was like totally fine, like, you know, sports movie. And it got into original. So
and then like I mean Babylon I think in a weaker original year would have probably gotten more consideration, but I just think it probably is not the thing that people are going to stand out about. It would be the script, though. Having talked to a lot of people on the production, Joyce, because I love this movie. I do think the script is pretty good. I don't know. I could see it sneaking in. Not if there's like a big.
You talked to a lot of people involved in the production of the movie.
Well, because they all were like, "Oh, the script is awesome," and then the movie is just the script, and I'm like, "Then
yeah,
the movie's
because like
awesome."
They've talked ad nauseum about how, you know, like that was they filmed everything so that he didn't cut anything when they were actually filming. They cut it from the final cut because there's like a 4-hour cut out there. But they actually filmed like all 180 pages or whatever.
Right. And then Woman King, I feel like, again, another movie that could actually get in for original. I wouldn't be surprised if it got in. But if it was an adapted screenplay for whatever reason, I think it would easily get in, especially in this year with this competition.
You need to start a narrative for Maria Bello.
Yes, Maria Bello. Get her out there. Start doing it. Thank you, Daniel, for that great question.
Hope you can resume your workout right now.
Yes. Here's Grant, Joyce. Another interesting question. Grant writes, is there a possibility The Fabelmans pulls a Power of the Dog and only wins Best Director? The Fabelmans' poor box office performance suggests audience interest is lacking and that it may be more admired than loved, as opposed to my Best Picture favorite, Top Gun Maverick, which has blown up audiences and the box office worldwide. Grant is not me. I did not write this email. That's a real email from Grant.
What would your burner account name be? Not Grant.
It actually would probably be, maybe it could be Grant, but it's not. I don't even know. Graham.
It'll be Pete Mitchell.
P. Mitchell or Rooster, maybe. We've talked about, I mean, like,
yeah, we kind of talked about this last week in one of the episodes, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, it could totally happen. It's like Fabelmans is well, based on just like the critics awards right now, like a lot of regionals announcing. There's probably like 17 more today.
Right.
But yeah, not performing well. It has not won a lot.
No.
But that's I expected that. I didn't think it would do very well because it's just not like a critics movie. It's not super highbrow. And I was talking to someone about this recently. Like I think Spielberg is taken for granted, and he's just caught in between middlebrow and highbrow. And he's just, like I said last week, he's not a cool pick for critics, right?
No.
And he just has the MBR win for director, who are not really critics anyway, just a shadow group out there. So yeah, like he could be the win for Fabelmans if it turns out that way. And so right now, the critics awards, a lot of them for director, are going to the Daniels, which also not surprising because it's just a very film Twitter friendly. It's film Twitter's favorite movie.
Yes.
And I feel like it's. I mean, we could discuss this maybe another time or maybe later on. I don't know, but a lot of rubber stamping in the critics awards, like Everything Everywhere, winning a lot. Not surprising either. But like even like the acting categories, like it's the same people. Like we've talked about like how actress is super competitive, but it's basically just Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh winning everything. You know. But anyway, yeah. So Daniels are monopolizing the critics awards, and Todd Field has L.A. and New York, the highbrow ones,
right?
And Spielberg has MBR, and then like weirdly, like Martin McDonagh, like no one wants to give him like a directing award. It's like everyone is just agreeing that like let's give him screenplay. So he has won a bunch of screenplay awards. So he's not a factor at all for like the director. So it almost feels like these critics prizes are like an easy wins for the Daniels. So, I mean, Spielberg can turn it around at the televised awards. So yeah, it can have that way. I will say, like, the difference between Power of the Dog and Fabelmans is, like, there was definitely a lot more passion for Power of the Dog.
Yeah. But I think
So,
there was also in
and
the
Jane was
end,
also steamrolling because she won like 40 critics awards. It was
right.
just locked at this point we knew she was winning last year.
I mean, I think I would compare Power of the Dog more to Tar, honestly, because it is the critical movie of the year, right?
Yeah,
Kind
but
of.
Todd is not winning.
But Todd is not winning. And I would say, I think everything you said there is accurate. I think Spielberg will still win the televised stuff. And I do feel like in the end, it's just an easy win for him. I would say the thing I've noticed with, like you're saying, like the rubber stamping is just exhausting, because I just wish these critics would like just find something else. Like there's a lot of movies that like you could
Yeah,
just pick
it's
something else.
also like
Like
I
good.
like you can like a majority of people can like the same performances and same films. Like that's not weird. But then it's just
No.
like really like all 70 of you guys are picking the same two people.
I
It's
mean,
like
it does.
I can understand like
Right.
maybe like one category or something, but then it's like again, like, best actress, a lot of worthy winners there, and it's just the same people. And like I love them, the two of them. Like they're like locked in a battle for the most prizes right now.
Right.
But it's like there are other people out there too. Um
I
and
would
it's
say,
like this is
yeah,
also like on a Fablemans tangent, like this is also a great chance to elevate Gabriel LaBelle instead of just
certainly.
giving him like breakthrough awards too.
And also to elevate Michelle Williams, right? Like any of these could have just picked Michelle Williams. I know, like you're saying, like Kate and Michelle Yeoh are credible, but like Michelle Williams could have won one of these, probably like a regional group, I think. But what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
and like I also expected Danielle to do better too, Danielle
Yes.
Detweiler, and she hasn't.
It does
So,
feel like a lot of the critics now are just, again, everybody's trying to chase the Oscar picks and then get to
and
say
like
like we
don't
were
make your
there
own
first.
choices. And it's
But
like I know like you're seeing like, oh, Everything Everywhere is like winning all these awards from other people, but you don't have to do this. Like if it's your favorite, sure, vote for it.
right.
But you don't need to be sheep either.
I would say about the directing thing, and just back to that one, I think for me, the Daniels in early in the season, when Everything Everywhere, like I mean, like it's not like we're surprised that it's dominating. I'm certain I don't think either one of us are, and like it does seem like a very very likely Best Picture winner in the end, and it's already like jumped the Fablemans in our odds overall. But I would say, even with that said, the Daniels still felt like, boy, will they get in at director, because they're a team and it's not like the Coens, and it's the branch is kind of wonky. And it just felt like maybe they would actually not get in at some point. But now I feel like, because of all the critics groups throwing their weight behind the Daniels, it's like I would mean they are absolutely getting it. I would be very surprised if they didn't get in the final cut. So I think that has helped them like kind of stand above maybe some of the other contenders in this category. Whereas maybe 2 months ago or a month ago, they were maybe still on the cusp of maybe missing.
Yeah, like if you look at what I don't know what's in the top five for Best Picture.
Hang on.
So it's like those two, Banshees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we said, like no one is really considering Martin for directing.
No.
Like,
And
will he get snubbed again for another top three movie?
so
Maybe even.
I have him in right now, because we talked about this like a couple of weeks ago when we were doing it, and I took out Sarah Polly, but I actually might put Sarah Polly back in and take out Martin and leave Spielberg, James Cameron, the Daniels, and Todd Field. I feel like that four is pretty solid, on solid ground, even though, like you said, like any of them could miss really, but except for Spielberg. But like I could see Baz Luhrmann getting in, but I do think maybe Sarah Polly will have an ascent, like a comeback a little bit. But I don't know. I think Mark McDonagh probably won't get in. And again, like you said, I think it's an easy screenplay win for him. Like they're just going to give him screenplay this
So
time.
he's gonna get snubbed again in director.
I think he would get snubbed again in director, even though I think Banshees is his top three movie and could be the consensus. Another
Well, you
movie
know
that could
what
be
else you could say is a
consensus.
top three movie, Top Gun Maverick, and
Right.
no
And
Joe
no
anywhere.
Joseph Kosinski
Not even
either.
at Critics' Choice with
No.
their 27 slots.
So I feel like, I mean, the only other person one person I would say I think could get in is Baz Luhrmann. I really think he can make it in as the final spot. But I think it's between like Baz Luhrmann, Martin McDonagh, and Sarah Polly for me at that last spot. The other four, I have a hard time imagining switching out. Like I don't think Todd Field will get snubbed. I just don't. It feels like he's like the Paul Thomas Anderson of this year, where it's just a filler nom. They're going to put him in, and that's it.
yeah, because I think like the past couple years, we're just kind of looking for like the highbrow, like international pick
Mm-hmm.
too. last year was Hamaguchi,
Right.
and Vinterberg the year before. So I would have thought maybe like Park Chan-wook would have done better like months ago. Like I think I even had him in maybe
Yeah,
in
you
like
did.
August.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but that's not really materializing. Um, but yeah, I mean, they nominated Todd Phillips for Joker.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a weird branch, so Baz Luhrmann could get it. But anyway, I do think the Fableman. I think in the end, Fablemans does feel like Power of the Dog because I think it'll end up with like probably 10 like similarly a large amount of nominations, including you could argue 4 acting nominations or 3 acting nominations, I guess, as it were. And I really don't think it'll win anywhere else. Even score, I don't think it's like a slam dunk for John Williams. Like we used to like at one
No.
point last year, we thought even Power of the Dog, even if it wasn't going to win Best Picture, you could have predicted it for Best Director and maybe Best Cinematography, right? For Ari Wegner, and it didn't win there. It just won Best Director.
Power of
And
the
I'm
Dog
like,
was probably runner up in so many of those categories to Dune.
and I
Um,
think Fablemans could be like a runner up in score and a runner up in like cinematography and stuff like that because I don't think it's going to win these.
yeah, like I mean, if John, I do like the score. I think we talked about this already,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
it's pretty brief. And like Steven has talked about how when they were working on it, John said like he wanted the score to come in later in the movie. And
right,
obviously Michelle also plays Bach pieces on the piano.
right.
But they are revving up the campaign. They posted a featurette about their 50-year working relationship yesterday.
Yeah.
So
I mean, obviously he's going to get nominated, but I could see like women. I could see women talking, women winning there, or
that's a great
Babylon,
score.
Babylon winning there too. Even I mean, Pinocchio. I mean, Alexander Desplat could win easily too. I don't think it's like a slam dunk for Williams, and I
It's a great
guess
category.
that would just leave the one for Spielberg. I still think Spielberg will end up winning Best Director. It would be funny that he wins another Best Director without Best Picture.
um, yeah, like so you have him winning the Globe, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he can win that. I think like yeah, Fablemans can win that and even drama picture there. I know like you could say like oh like Avatar can win both again like last time, but
I
um
have Avatar winning picture and I have Spielberg director for the Globes.
um yeah, I don't know. I mean, they worship him at DGA, so he's definitely getting in there.
Yeah.
Like, no contest.
And I think he'd win it there too. I don't think he's going to lose a lot. I don't think he's going to lose a lot of the
I don't
directing
think
stuff.
BAFTA would be harder for him. Um, but yeah.
Just because I'm like, again, we talked about this. There's not a like the other options are all. There's no one that stands out among the rest, and I think the Daniels would be maybe your one. But I think the fact they've now been elevated up to the group rather than like elevated up to a direct competitor for Spielberg, if that makes
But do you
sense.
think this is also like, could they just love everything everywhere so much that the Daniels just win along with it, like Bong Joon-ho and Parasite?
I think that's like not the greatest comp
I
because
don't
I
think so
just think
either, because I think like I do like that branch is very snobby, and I know the whole Academy votes for the winners, but I do feel like there are going to be detractors to that style.
I also
And Parasite is
yeah.
more sleek.
I also think like Parasite, like Bong Joon-ho winning director was a much easier. Like I feel like that the momentum for him winning Best Director led the way, and then the entire Academy kind of warmed, like was caught up in Parasite mania. You know what I mean? Like here, I think the movie is out in front, and the Daniels are kind of coming behind. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's going to be like that. I just don't think people are going to be like yes for that. I think it's more like Coda, if anything. I don't think it's a great comp either because I think they'll get in, and like Sean Hayter didn't. But even if Sean Hayter was nominated, as much as everybody had Coda mania, I don't think she would have beaten Jane Campion last year.
I mean, I think it just really depends on how much they love that movie.
Right.
So
I will be interested to see if, like, I'm still going to bet on McDonough winning screenplay, but it would be interesting to see if the Daniels won screenplay instead of McDonough.
they could. Like, that's basically what they did with like Birdman,
Right.
because like Boyhood won nothing, and people thought like, oh, maybe there could be a split, so like Richard Linklater could go home
Mm-hmm.
with an
And
Oscar,
it could
and
be. And
we don't really care about
yeah.
that. So
No. So if they just love everything everywhere, it could just win screenplay too. And McDonough goes home empty handed again in the
it's okay. He's
category.
already an Oscar winner.
I know,
So
but not for like screenplay.
not for narrative features.
No. So thank you, Grant. Again, I'll read our email is slugfest@goldderby.com. We'll do another mailbag episode, maybe around the Oscar, like before the Oscars or something, Joyce. These are fun. Here's Faisal, and I apologize if I say that name wrong. Faisal writes, here's my question. What do you make of Olivia Colman's chances at an Oscar nomination? And what major precursors would she need to hit for it to happen? I just got out of Empire of Light, and I think her performance is as good as any of the work she's done, even if the film itself was not up to par. Could you see her possibly slipping in instead of Viola Margot for the 5th slot? Now, this is assuming, I guess, that Danielle is locked in at the 4th slot. Danielle Detweiler.
Yes.
What do you think, Joyce? I've seen people still floating Olivia Colman as a possible nominee.
I mean, listen, she got in the Globes. Danielle did not.
Right. Like, let me ask you, do you think she'll get in at BAFTA?
It'll be hilarious if she got in a BAFTA, because we have kept predicting her for it under this new system, and she keeps missing. So it'll be so funny if we do not predict her for this, because no one's really predicting her for the Oscar anymore.
No.
And then she finally gets in. And, now it's a top 3 popular vote, and then jury picks. So I wouldn't count her out. I think it's still very fluid down there. I know you also dropped Danielle. So you could argue that like 2 spots are open.
I do think it's 2 spots for 4. I think the top 3 are locked, and I think Danielle, Viola, Margot Robbie, and Olivia Colman are that 4, and 2 of those 4 will get in. And you could argue that it would be, I'm going with the noisiest movies for my 2. So I'm taking Viola Davis and Margot Robbie, because I think they'll be referenced more on ballots than these other 2, because the movies are smaller, even if there's more passion around Danielle. But we'll see.
Yeah, but they'll need the number 1 placements.
Right.
Like, how many people are going to be ranking both of them at number 1?
I could see actually Margot getting a lot of number 1s. I think it's like a number 1 especially for older
I could see her
voters.
getting it at SAG. Like,
it's a loud performance, and like people do like it a lot. So I could see her getting it. Viola, I think, is a little more dicey, because I think it's more like a 2-3. But she's so popular, I do think she would get in. But
Olivia, I think if she does get in here, like, she'll just be the next Meryl, basically.
Yeah, for sure. It's not, I mean, obviously, I do think it's funny. I think it's a great performance, and it's one of these movies we've not really talked a lot about, but I think there are a lot of really solid elements, and the whole thing just doesn't come together.
Yeah.
So it's like disappointing, because I think if you take every piece out, you're like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, the music is great.
Production design is incredible.
The cinematography, obviously.
Cinematography is incredible. Yeah. The performances are great. Olivia Colman is awesome in it. I think it's like one of her better performances, and like she does a lot of different things in it. Michael Ward is very strong, even though I don't think he's the breakout.
He also has a very baby scene in the middle.
Yeah. Toby Jones has a great scene or 2. It's like really solid movie, and then it just is like it just doesn't kind of come together for whatever reason. It's definitely better than a lot of the other Oscar bait movies that kind of flopped this year, to me. But I don't know. I don't think she'll get in either.
I wonder how it will be received at BAFTA.
So it basically feels like it's made to get a lot of BAFTA nominations. And I think if it does get a resurgence, you could see a scenario where it ends up getting her back in the conversation. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's out of the question that she gets in, honestly. Because again, I mean, this is why I don't have her in, but I could see it being a lot of people's favorite performances, right? She's like one of the best actresses. People love her, and it is a great performance. So I could see if people are passionate about Olivia Colman, they would put her at the top of their ballot, even if they don't think the movie's great, like Faisal.
Yeah, like I mean, that's, and also it's best actress, so it doesn't matter like how strong your movie is. Although there are a lot of strong movies this year in this case. But yeah, it'll just be like Meryl. Like, she's not going to win even if she gets in,
No way. No. But I mean, I wouldn't count it out. But
great streak.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I won't predict it. I guess maybe if she got in at BAFTA, I would think about it. I definitely don't think it's out of the question, though.
No. I don't even know where she is. Is she in like 8th, probably 7th?
No, I think she's in 7th. Let me take a look here. 1 second.
Yeah, she's in 7th.
Yeah, and she's not that. I mean, she's like pretty far behind Margot for the 7th spot. For the 6th spot right now, Danielle Detweiler is still 4th, Viola Davis 5th, Margot Robbie 6th, and Olivia Colman 7th, and then Naomi Ackie from Whitney Houston : I Want to Dance with Somebody.
New title. Love the rebranding.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. So that's is that Oscar buzz?
I was thinking like the Joe Reed and Chris Vile have a lot of grist for their This Had Oscar Buzz
So
list this
many
year.
qualify this year.
Bardo, Empire of Light, White Noise, Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, The Sun. That's 5 right off the bat. All would be in, I think. Holy cow, what a year for these movies. James,
but that's why it's better this way.
it is actually kind of fun. I was thinking that today. I was talking to one of my friends who was like, I put Bardo on last night on Netflix and I couldn't make it 5 minutes. I was like,
wow. 5 minutes of like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. No, it's shorter now. We made it 2.5 hours, Joyce. Still haven't watched the new edit, but I probably will.
You need to do that because you can compare it. I never saw the original, so
no. James P writes, here's a fun one, Joyce. This one I thought was good. Who will be this year's or last year's Judi Dench? What I mean is, who's going to
be Katrina Balfe?
Who is the supporting actor that was highly on our Oscar radar that will be surpassed by a castmate that wasn't even on our radar? Like how Judi Dench got the nomination over Katrina Balfe. I'm thinking Sadie Sink over Hong Chow. I didn't add that. He did. James did.
But Hong has already missed precursors. Like Katrina hit everything.
So who do you think it could be this year?
So we need someone to hit everything first.
Right.
So I think that already takes the whale out of the running.
Okay.
Well, I can I don't know. I mean, it's still not the best because like I could see Jamie Lee Curtis hitting everything, but Stephanie Hsu has already hit Critics' Choice.
Right, but Jamie Lee, if Jamie Lee missed, I mean, I definitely think that would qualify as like a Katrina Balfe type. I know,
situation. But I like he means like someone who was not nominated for anything, right?
I mean, I guess we could do whatever we want with this. He does mean that, like Sadie Sink.
But like that's not surprising either because it's always been on the table that one of them gets in or both or neither.
Right?
Like I think it's more likely that both of them get in now.
Certainly.
Or Everything Everywhere gets the double noms and Not Women Talking. So right. I guess maybe like Jessie Buckley hit Critics' Choice. So I guess if Claire Foy doesn't hit anything else,
so I could see that
over Jessie Buckley.
I mean, I think that could really be the one because Jessie Buckley has definitely become the person from Women Talking, right? Like, I mean, like she seemingly would get in. She's like second in our odds at the Oscars. Pretty much like everyone's expecting her to be the one Woman Talking representative, even though Claire Foy is in 4th.
But it's not even like that strong. Like everyone was expecting Katrina Balfe, but now Woman Talking is just kind of tanking.
I mean, it's taking a little bit, but Jessie Buckley has still been like the top choice for months. And she just only recently got surpassed. I think she's
only maintained her lead over Claire because she did get into Critics' Choice and she was runner-up at LA.
Right.
One of the two runner-ups.
So if she doesn't get in for the Oscars and Claire Foy did, I could see that being like...
I guess that's the closest comp. I mean, like who else, what other double nominee situations do we have here?
Well, like you said, Jamie Lee and Stephanie Hsu, but Stephanie Hsu started showing up. But I do think if Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't get in,
I guess we could look at supporting actor. But then it's like
supporting actor would be Dano and Judd Hirsch.
But like Judd already hit Critics' Choice.
Right.
Like we need someone to miss everything. And I don't.
Who would be the person that misses everything and gets into you? Let's do that.
Just like no co-star at all.
No co-star, just like a supporting content, like a person who was like going to be like, wow, I can't believe they got in, like a Keith Stanfield type thing,
like a Marina de Tavira.
Yes.
I have to look at like the list. I mean, like Nina Haas. I was not in the same category. I dropped her.
I was trying to guide you to Nina Haas because I do think that would be like, that is kind of one of the ones that I could see getting in, even though I don't necessarily believe in it. I know you did for a long time, but she would be a very obvious.
I mean, it's still chaotic enough that it could happen, but I mean, I don't know what else is there.
I mean, Nina Haas would be a really good one, I think, and Tom Hanks, I think, would be a good one.
Tom Hanks I could still see getting in at SAG. So
I mean, a coattail. I just think those coattail nominees are strong. That's why I still want to have Hong Chow in over Sadie Sink for supporting actress, even though she's been missing, because I'm like, I know the movie is not as well received as maybe people would have hoped based on the film Twitter buzz. But I do think Hong Chow is pretty affecting in the movie, and like Brendan is an automatic Best Actor nominee, and so like I could see her getting in the end.
Yeah, she is someone who like makes sense as a nominee. It'll be so funny because like, you know, last time for Downsizing, she hit all the precursors and she missed. So it'd be funny if it's like the reverse for her this time.
Like, I just think in her favor, like the reason I'm not willing to drop her really from my list, and I still have her in the 5th spot for the Oscars, for me is because that is, while the movie, he could be a lone nominee, and we've talked, or maybe like Makeup, I think we'll get into, it's a priority movie for people to watch, even if it's very polarizing. Like, no one is going to pass up the chance to watch that because of how much it's been discussed and how much he's been talked about as a contender, even though the subject matter is bleak, even though you know it's a tough sit, you're going to put it on. And so I think when you put it on, you're going to see Hong Chow, like in early stage of that movie, she's very forward and like really good and kind of
No,
like,
but like we've always said like she's the most she's like the audience avatar. Like she's the
right.
most relatable character.
So I feel like that's why she'll end up getting in, because people are going to be like, oh yeah, like I don't know about the movie, but they're great. Like, oh my God, she's so good. You know, that kind of thing.
No, I can still see her getting it. I mean, like it is surprising that she has missed like the Globe, you know.
I think it's surprising that she missed it at the Globes, but like I'm not surprised like a lot of the critics are not going for it because like they're turning on the movie. Even people who seemingly liked it at first.
I don't know, because I think like a lot of people did like her. Like a lot of people who like Brendan like her, and some people even prefer her to Brendan.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, I have to pull up the Metacritic thing. I think she's won something. She definitely won something. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But let me see. So she has one win. So she's in 4th. So Carrie Condon is in, according to Metacritic's chart, Carrie Condon's in 1st. She has 8 wins. Janelle Monáe is in 2nd with 4 wins. And then Stephanie Sue has 1 win, and she has 2 more points by their system.
Okay.
Over Hong Chow. So
what do you think of neither one of us, I don't think, have Janelle Monáe in. Is she gonna like, I don't have Janelle Monáe or
I don't know. Yeah, I think
or Angela Bassett, and both of them could easily get in here at the Oscars.
I think it was more surprising that Janelle missed the Globe, because that felt like a very Globes nomination. Mm-hmm. So I think I still have her getting at SAGs. I can still see her getting in at the Oscars. I don't know. I mean, so we're recording this before Glass Onion has hit Netflix.
Yes, but we could talk about it. She's great in the movie, and we can spoil it, I guess. Spoiler alert if we want to.
She's great in the movie, and I think, you know, if you don't know anything about the movie and you go into it, like there's a huge reveal in the middle with her character.
So I will say I didn't know anything about the movie when I saw it. Obviously I knew, and like, but they've been like, Netflix has been like whispering about Janelle Monáe for literally months. Like when I talked to them in August before Telluride, they were like, you gotta watch for Janelle Monáe and Glass Onion. Like it's been like they've been very excited about this performance for months. And I was sitting there watching the movie, and like, you're right, there's a huge turn in the halfway mark with her character. And I was like, before that turn, I was like, I guess she's fine. Like I assume she's going to factor into the big mystery because she's really not in it very much in the beginning. And then she ends up being like a huge part of it. And she's really good. And she has a great rapport with Daniel. I don't necessarily, nothing in the performance was like, oh man, this is an Oscar performance. And nothing about it. There's not really even an Oscar clip. I guess it would be like the big scene at the end with like her breaking the glass and stuff.
But that's just like her in a rage room.
Because I'm like, at least Angela Bassett, I think, has like Oscar moments in Black Panther. You know what I mean?
Her Angela Bassett yelling.
And like Janelle Monáe, you're really just going kind of like Glass Onion itself on the like, you know what's great? This movie. It's so much fun. I love it. I love her performance.
Like, you have to watch the movie to appreciate what she does.
Right.
To see her choices as an actor.
And I would love to see her get in. I could see her getting in. I really could.
I can see her, like, I can see people just being really wowed by like the twist and stuff and what she does. So I could see her getting #1 votes more so than Angela. Like Angela still serving, hit all the precursors but snubbed.
Right.
Because I just don't know how many people are gonna like rank her in first for a Marvel movie. Like, I think that bias is still there.
And I mean, we both saw that movie and didn't really take it not
Like, she's fine.
seriously. She's
She's just
good.
her Angela Bassett thing.
I just was surprised that of all I mean, I'm not kidding. Like Letitia Wright has way more to do and goes way deeper in the performance, I think, than Angela Bassett
I mean,
does.
my favorite is Denai Guerrero.
Denai Guerrero also has really incredible comic moments and physical moments, and also this really heartbreaking drama
I mean, yeah,
stuff.
like Angela is just a legend,
right? I'm not knocking
this for her, so
right. I'm not knocking it, and obviously, I understand why she's getting singled out, and it's great to use that. But it just was like we said, even at the time, if Michael B. Jordan didn't get nominated for the first film, it seems like this would be a much harder trek for her for this film. Like you're saying, not a lot of number ones probably there. I mean, I don't know. I think Janelle Monáe could have a lot of number ones. You're right, but I guess we'll see. I still have.
It'll be interesting if both Janelle and Angela get in, because they'll be getting in for performances in sequels when the Mothership films did not get any.
Right. I have my 5 right now for supporting actress, and this is, again, we're recording this before Christmas, but I don't think I'll change it that much before the next time we speak. I have Carrie Condon winning, and then I have Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Sue and Hong Chow and Dolly DeLeon. But not convinced that I could see easily putting Janelle Monáe in there for Dolly DeLeon. And I basically just did these on the passion and the number one votes that I think they could accrue. That's why Jessie Buckley and Claire Foy I don't have in, because I just think they're not number one performances. No one's going to be how are you going to split between them? And then also, are you going to rank them at the top? Dolly DeLeon, I think could have way more.
Think they're splitting each other's votes.
I kind of feel like that. And Dolly DeLeon doesn't have, I mean, even if the movie is only going to get one other nomination, I think she'll have a lot of people who love that movie, love her. She's got a lot of passion.
Yeah, I think people just need to get to the third act, which is where she really comes in. And that's where her own character takes a turn.
Right.
So, but there's a lot of stuff in the middle on the ship that I think will turn a lot of people off. And Certainly. They might not continue watching it.
Probably.
So they just have to get through. Maybe they can fast forward it and just go to the third act to watch her.
I also, the other thing I think with that, and similar, it's a different than Glass Onion, because Glass Onion is always a delight while you're watching it. But I think if you've been hearing about this performance and you're watching Triangle of Sadness, you might be what the F are people talking about? You know what I mean? You're going to stick with it, because I'd be man, she's not really in this that much. Why are people so into this? I got to stick through it to the end to see why everybody has been so crazy about Dolly DeLeon, that kind of thing. And then you will make it through, even if you're kind of only paying attention half-assed or whatever. I think the hope would be that you're kind of going to stick with it to see what everybody's talking about. And, that would help her get in, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. So this is still the most fun category.
Definitely. James had another question, Joyce. He wrote
another one.
This one I think you'll love. The Kate versus Kate debate. Kate with a K versus Kate with a C. Do you guys feel like sharing whose performances you prefer? On a huge forum that no longer exists, there was a massive debate about the Kates and who was the better actress. They were being nominated around the same time, won their Oscars around the same time. I know that Kate with a C has said she finds the rehearsal process to be something sacred, and Kate with a K prefers to do less. Who do you prefer? Joyce, I'll let you go first.
I love both Kates. Why do I have to choose one?
Well, because we've been positioned to have to choose. I don't care either. I like them both also.
Yeah, I
do have a preference though. I have.
Oh, really? I can tell you. Okay, you could go.
Well, tell me. Go ahead. Who do you think it is?
No, it's not even me. I could just tell you one of my friends. He cannot stand Cate Blanchett. It's nothing personal, but he just doesn't vibe with her acting style. It's how another one of my friends just wants to punch Adam Brody in the face.
Wow.
For no reason. He's just he has a punchable face. I can't stand him. It's nothing about his acting at all, but it's just I want to punch him. So this other friend, he just cannot stand Cate Blanchett's acting style. So I always troll him whenever she has a movie out or she's nominated stuff. Yeah.
So for me, it's always more so not just the acting, because I think everyone's a good they're both great actors, right? There's nothing really wrong with it. So then I would say, which one would I prefer, or who do I think has better taste? for my money, it's Kate Winslet, because I think all of her movies are really good. Like I could go through her IMDb and I would say more of these movies are like on my favorites or whatever than like Kate Blanchett. So like Titanic, Eternal Sunshine, Little Children, The Holiday, Revolutionary Road, Contagion, Steve Jobs, she's great in. All of these movies I think are really strong, including Avatar: The Way of Water. And Kate Blanchett obviously has a lot of great movies too. But for me, Kate Winslet is the preferred choice. But I think they're both awesome, and I love seeing them both in stuff. So it's not like I'm not going to go avoid Kate Blanchett. Like I don't feel as strongly as your friend.
No, yeah, and like it's weird because I feel like both of their filmographies are varied, but in completely different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love a lot of their films. And I don't know if I've like, because Kate Blanchett definitely works more than Kate Winslet. Like she just does a lot of stuff.
She does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean she voices a monkey in Pinocchio. Just I don't like. I mean, I loved her in Thor Ragnarok. Like, I want Kate Winslet in the MCU. Let's get that.
So I would definitely want Kate Winslet in the MCU. I want Kate Blanchett. I find the other thing about her is like, and again, just maybe preference on the movies, but I think she's really funny, and I think like she has a lot of.
They're both funny.
But like Kate Blanchett, a lot of her movies, maybe it's because she just has more to. Maybe she just because she's doing more. Like a lot of them are more like things that I would consider serious. But like when she gets to be funny in like Tar and like Don't Look Up, even like she's funny. And Thor, like you said, I mean, she's like got a really good
She's great on documentary now.
kind of comedy vibe, and I love it when she's a little more silly. So,
more quote unquote dramatic actors need to do comedy. Like a lot of them are really great at it. Like Leo is great at comedy. He needs to do a lot more comedy.
yeah.
So
And it's like even like
yeah.
you look at like, yeah, I mean, she's really good. Kate, I mean, yeah, they're both great. Hard to knock either Kate.
I know. So I mean, well, Kate with a C will hit 8 nominations first.
Yeah, and 3 wins seemingly.
So yeah, Kate Winslet is still at 1.
I think if you were giving like pound for pound who's the better actor, you'd have to go Kate Blanchett. Even though I prefer Kate Winslet because of the stats would tell you that she's the better actor.
Well, I mean, that's still just like
preference.
Yeah, because it's like it's also like timing and luck when you win these things too.
Right.
So like I mean, I would give like Kate Winslet's performance in Mayor of Easttown an Oscar if I could. Like
true. She was great.
Amazing in it. So yeah, like
2 great actors. What if they did something together?
Like we need more Kates in general. So, like Kate with a K took a break for a while. So I'm glad like she's back.
I'd also say
like 17 HBO shows in the works. So.
An added thing that I love about Kate Winslet is she gives great interviews also. Kate Blanchett is pretty good as well, but like nobody gets out. Kate Winslet does not give a fuck. She just is awesome. So,
but yeah, they're both great. So like we need, so now that Kate Blanchett has done Hot Ones, we need Kate Winslet on Hot Ones.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. How's that not been part of the Avatar tour?
She didn't do that much for the press tour for Avatar.
But she made a lot of headlines thanks to Josh Horowitz.
Yeah, great. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah. It's good. She's great. Josh, great. Friend of the show, maybe. I know Josh. I mean, like I would say hello to him and things. Next up, we have Martha, who writes, "Here is my question. Depending on the crit, this was sent like a couple weeks ago, so we'll see. Here's my question. After the Critics' Choice Award nominations, where Danielle Deadwyler was nominated, do you still think she's in a similar position as Delroy Lindo from The Five Bloods in 2021? Delroy was hailed as the most standout performance by many critics, and he nabbed the Critics' Choice nomination, but was snubbed by the Globe, SAG, BAFTA, and the Oscars. What do you think, Joyce?"
So no shade to him, but from the jump, I never really believed that he could get in at the Oscars. Whereas I've always felt that Danielle could get in at the Oscars. I can't describe the feeling. It's just like an instinct.
understand that instinct, I would say it's probably because, like we're saying, Danielle is a number one getter, and the Delroy Lindo performance is not a number one getter.
It's true, yeah. But I was just I wasn't very, I mean, I guess, like, she's probably going to be a lone nominee for Tilt too, but I was never optimistic about The Five Bloods overall.
I was, because I think it's awesome and it's like a great movie. And that was just a weak year because it was the COVID year and like no movies existed, right? So like kind of it came out, people were like, oh, let's go back to this great Spike Lee movie that was awesome that we watched at home. But I agree with you. It just felt like a late kind of critical thing that
it was like definitely
excited
a push, and he won a couple critics stuff or was nominated for a few things. But I don't know. I just I could never buy into it. And then, at a certain point, people started nominating Chadwick Boseman in supporting actor.
Right.
Too. So not that like he stole some of his like hype or anything, but I think like I know people were predicting Chad to get into like double nominations, and I never felt that. I didn't think like he could get two, and I didn't think The Five Bloods could even support two acting nominations that way either.
Right.
So
yeah, but I think Danielle is safer as a contender than Delroy Lindo was, basically.
Even though you dropped her.
I did drop her because I don't think she'll get in, but I think she will. Like, I think she could get in at SAG, like we said. It doesn't seem like unlikely.
No, but I could also see SAG being the top three, Viola, who, their fave, and then Margot, because that's just like the higher visibility film.
Mm-hmm. And then would you say,
and then what does that mean?
So I think I think the better comp, like we said, and it would not surprise me if this ends up panning out, would be like Kristen Stewart from last year. Danielle Deadweiler's in a less polarizing movie, but would probably be a lone nominee. And Kristen Stewart missed in a lot of places, and everybody was like, she's not making it.
Kristen did get the Globe nomination.
Right. But I don't know. I could see that being similar.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I still have her in at the Oscars, so we'll see.
Jana writes, hey, Joyce and Chris, I'm a longtime listener. I absolutely love the show. You all are one of my highlights of the week. I think Joyce and I could be BFF. We both love movies, Jenny the Donkey from Banshees, and tennis.
Yay. I'm sure she's also excited for Breakpoint.
I'm sure she is too, coming to Netflix in 2023.
January 13th, even though they're saving part 2 for June, just killing me because I need the drama.
But it's for your birthday month.
Knick-knack from last year.
It'll be for your birthday month, the second half.
It's true.
So Jana continues, I kind of already know your individual faves and all the films that Chris has cried in, but I'd love to hear your personal top 10 ranking of the 2022 films. Thanks, Jana.
Okay. First of all, can you list all the films you've cried in? Avatar.
Man, I got, it's a tough list. Avatar for sure. Top Gun Maverick. Ambulance.
You cried at Ambulance.
Well, it's gonna make my list. I have my list, Joyce. I did make a list. I know we think about this differently. You don't love making lists.
I don't really do lists. I just kind of like, I have basically in my mind, I just have like tiers of like movies I really, really loved, and then like movies like I like a lot, and then just like everything is like else is like, oh, they were fine, and then like maybe some that I hated. So right. But because like I feel like my feelings might change day to day on the movie, like especially if I rewatch it or something too.
Right. Yeah. So rewatching,
they don't usually jump from like I love it to it was fine, or vice versa or something.
A lot of times I'll always try to give a movie another shot, especially if I don't like it, but I was like super excited for it or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like just did this with The Menu, a movie I did not like. I did not like it when I saw it. And then I was like, I'm still going to give it another shot. And I still didn't like it, Joyce, as it turns out. But I was willing to give it a chance. And I like watching things more than once. Sometimes I'll jump up a little bit. Like certain movies, like Babylon, which made my top 10, Joyce. So I did a top 10. I was like, I really like this, but I could see it easily going down in my mind on a rewatch. And I rewatched and I was like, this movie rules. So that's kind of how I think of it.
So it moved up.
It moved up. So without, you don't have to, I have a 10, but what were your faves then?
I mean, I could list 10 movies. So like I have a definite top 4.
let's hear the yeah. Let's do that.
In no particular order.
Sure.
My top 4 are Tar,
Mm-hmm.
Banshees of Inisherin,
Mm-hmm.
Causeway, and Fabelmans. Like those were the 4 this year where when I walked out of the theater being like, I can't wait to watch that again. And I've watched 2 of them again since, Causeway and Banshees.
Right.
So and I usually like last year I only had like 2 faves. 2 years ago I only had 1. So this is huge for me that I have 4 this year.
It really is.
And then so I need 6 more. Glass Onion, also really loved, but I feel like, that is a movie that you do have to watch again anyway, to pick up on all the clues. Top Gun Maverick, which I know will please you. Decision to Leave. I love a romance police procedural thriller.
Yeah.
Great ending. A lot of great ending this year in several films. How many is that? Is that 6?
That's 6, I think, right?
So I need
you had 4.
Oh no, that's 7.
7.
That's 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need 3 more. Nope, I also really liked.
Nice.
Yeah. I would say I would rank it 3rd in my Jordan Peele rankings. Like I like Us the most.
Same. I love Us the most too. It rules.
Nope. But Nope is still great.
Yeah.
And so I need 2 more. Can I count Happening? Because it was released in the US this year.
Yeah, that counts.
Okay,
sure.
So Happening, great movie. I don't know if I will watch it again. It's not really a rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
But great film. And then I don't know. You know what? I will bookend this with another donkey movie, EO.
Wow.
Yes.
2 donkey movies.
Love my asses here. But I mean, I like a lot of other movies too. Like I like Woman King.
Woman King was fun.
Avatar. I had a blast at Avatar
Great
for
movie.
the last hour.
Yeah.
She Said I also really liked. So Women Talking too. So yeah.
Do you think this is a good year for movies?
I would say in general.
I was trying to think. I think I liked. I guess I would say like the problem I had with this year is that there are a lot of good movies and then there's a lot of bad movies and there's not a lot of middle ground. And like in years past, just because there were more movies, you had a lot more like Bs. Just looking for a B. Like there are not a lot of Bs.
In my estimation, like I have a lot of like average movies in my mind that I was like, that was fine. Like I've I didn't really love it, but I don't hate it either. Like,
and then totally I also think there's not as many all-time great movies this year as there were even like last year. Like there were certain movies last year that I was like, these are like all-time movies. And this year I think there's a couple, not as many.
So what's your actual ranking?
Well, do you want to go 10-1? I got it on my phone here.
Sure, go backwards.
Okay. Let me see.
Are these locked in? Are you going to change it?
I could change it, certainly. I'll give you some runners up.
Okay.
Living was a runner-up. Loved Living.
Oh, you cried at that one too.
I cried at that one. Hustle with Adam Sandler. Cried at that one. Loved it. RRR, another great theatrical experience.
Oh yeah, that was good. Oh, I forgot to mention Ticket to Paradise.
And Ticket to Paradise, right? And so here are my top 10. Ambulance, Michael Bay, absolutely owns. Jake Gyllenhaal, Oscar, when? Great performance, so good.
So sad.
Just an incredible movie.
When will he get nominated again?
I don't know. He should have got nominated for this. He rules. She Said was my number 9. Loved She Said. I feel like I got a real raw deal. For some reason, I wonder what it is. Sexism probably. That everyone just was like, it's a flop when all these movies flopped. And like to paint that particular movie with it's a flop when you could have done it with any number of other movies feels really disingenuous.
I also love the sweatiness when people try to act like Avatar flopped.
Yeah.
Weekend. So
it didn't flop. Anyway, She Said was great. I would love to see it somehow get back into any kind of Oscar race, but I don't anticipate that happening.
I mean, we didn't mention Golden Globe nominee Carey Mulligan.
I had to take her out because I don't believe that it could happen, but I would love for it to happen. Like it would be great. She's so good in it.
Yeah, I only have it in for screenplay right now.
Same. Scream 2022. Amazing movie. So the Scream franchise is sneakily one of my favorite franchises, even though I'm not a big horror movie guy. because I love the Scooby-Doo-esque mystery. I found this one so much fun. The script is hilarious. It totally takes the piss out of like every Lego sequel and like reboot sequel. Just so good. And it was very surprising, and the ending is awesome. So I'm excited for the new one, even though it doesn't feel very screamy because it's going to be in New York City. But love Scream. Do Revenge, Joyce, on Netflix. Another one you could have probably guessed. Because it is so funny. All of these movies, I felt like when I was looking at my list, I was like, all of these are like, at this point, I just want to watch a movie that like is good in its genre and like it succeeds on what it's trying to accomplish, basically. And Do Revenge does that.
Yes, you are not the only person I know who's seen that movie, but you're the only one who loves it earnestly.
It's so good. It's so funny. Clearly, definitely one of the funniest scripts. And Camila Mendes, Best Actress 2023. Let's go. So good. Then I have all the predictable ones after that. That's my bottom 5. That was 10 to 5 or 10 to 6. 5 was Glass Onion. I love Glass Onion as well. Can't wait to watch it again. Just a lot of fun. 4 would be Avatar. You know I love me an Avatar. Cried my eyes out at the end. Great stuff. And actually cried at a different part. I think spoiler alerts for Avatar because it's out. We could kind of talk about it.
I mean, you could cry in multiple parts.
I didn't cry as much as the big, there's a death in it, obviously. I didn't cry as much about that, but then after that, there's a great scene where like the two, and this is actually why I think if it got nominated for editing, it would all be in this final act, but there's a great like cross-cutting sequence where Jake Sully and Neytiri are kind of trapped in different spots in this sinking ship.
It's very sad.
And the kids have to like figure out how to save them. And I just like was so emotionally connected to like the kids stepping up and like helping their parents. I found like really affecting. And I just thought that scene was great. So Avatar, then Nope as well. Man, that movie is so good. I loved it. And like you said, it's funny. It's like my least favorite Jordan Peele movie, but still better. Like least favorite, but it's like so good, incredibly rewatchable.
I know. And I love all his, it sounds so hokey to say, but like his commentary, you know, whatever.
His
like
commentary is great.
You know, we all love just staring at spectacles and car crashes. Like,
and I just wish it was more seriously considered in all of these craft categories where I really think it could have made hay, including score and cinematography. The cinematography is unbelievable because it's so much at night and like it just is great, and it's like such a big canvas. I
talked to Ruth Kajong, the production designer. Great production design. They built Jupiter's Claim from scratch.
Nice.
And the ranch too. It's like she was like, we dug 6 feet in. She built a 3-story house. So
it's awesome. Babylon, Joyce, is my 3rd favorite movie of the year, and I could see that going up and up and up because I just love it. Second watch was really good. I think it holds together. And while I do think it might be too long, I can't imagine anything coming out of it. It's a great watch. And then my top 2, you'd be surprised to know, are Fabelmans, which I've seen 3 times and holds up.
Wait, when did you watch it the 3rd time?
My friend had to let me borrow a screener, so I watched it. I love it so much. It's a great movie. And then Top Gun Maverick, which I've also seen 3 times and just is the best. And yeah, it's a good year. I mean, I think those are really strong movies. There were a lot of other movies that I like. Women Talking and Tar certainly would be my runners up. I don't think you could say a bad thing about really either of them. I just was like, just my preference is just Ambulance. Let's go. Michael Bay.
I still haven't seen Ambulance, but every time I come across it, I just chuckle.
Well, guess what? It's on Amazon. You can watch it right now.
I know. Like, so when I see, I'm just like, oh yeah, Ambulance. I love the LA all caps in Ambulance.
Now I feel like we're going pretty long here, Joyce. We got a few more emails. Should we go through them? We could. I got a bunch here. Let's. But again,
can we do any of them? Like, can we answer any of them quickly? Because I feel like we spend too much time answering things. We're just.
I think there's a great lightning round one at the end. I'll do one more and then we'll do a lightning round, a bunch of short ones that we got emailed in. And you can email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Here's a quick goofy one. Brett writes, serious question. How is Avatar not an animated movie?
I've seen a lot of people ask about this, or not ask about this, but bring this up. I think there was like some rule that like prevents it from being considered an animated movie. I could be making this up, but I don't think so. But there's like some like mocap rule.
So Brett wonders, like, because Marcella Shell is an animated movie, but it has like a lot of actual people in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the motion capture is like a big part of it, and a lot of those are. I think a lot of it is physical locations that they're just like putting people like avatars on.
They're going underwater, so
right. So I think that is why. But I don't disagree that. I'll tell you what. I mean, when we first saw the trailers for Avatar, I thought the same thing. I was like, this whole thing is a cartoon, but there are like human characters, and it does feel much more of like a physical reality.
Yes. So I think it's I don't know. Can I even like Google this right now? We're just wasting time. I could have just completely made that up.
Yeah, Brett, Google it maybe. No, I don't. No, don't Google it. We'll figure. Joyce, we'll wrap up here with a run through of lightning round questions.
Exciting.
Here's Katie, who's a longtime fan. She writes, Austin Butler has won a number of breakthrough awards this year for his performance in Elvis. I think this is great, but I can't believe we're allowing people to spin the narrative that he's come out of nowhere. He's been acting on television for years. Shout out to the Carrie Diaries, and has also appeared in a Best Picture nominee. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Katie, since she's a longtime fan, should know that we feel the same way because we've mentioned this before, like way back in the summer.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we lost though, because the entire world is considering him as a breakout.
Because, so here's the thing.
I'm taking the L right there. I got the L on my head.
He's a child actor, right? On a lot of Nick and Disney shows, iCarly, yes. Zoe 101,
yes,
obviously, and then some CW shows, Life Unexpected,
right?
Carrie Diaries, Great Ass Sebastian, and then he also did Shannara Chronicles on MTV. So I understand that a lot of adults and film people are not aware of that,
right?
But he was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a very, very memorable role. And yes. I don't know, maybe it's like pandemic brain, but like at the time, that was a very talked about sequence, and people were writing about it. And like, who is that guy who played Tex? He has a very memorable line, the donuts.
He's great. Yeah, no, he is. I think,
and like he's been on Broadway with Denzel. Denzel lobbied for him to get Elvis, basically. So he has a lot of connections. He's not new, and like I know we all have different definitions of breakthrough and breakout and stuff, but to me, like I define it as like this needs to be like either like your first like film role basically, or like you've just been dabbling in like lowly parts. Like it's not your first role, but like you've just had like really tiny parts, and this is your first like role where it's a significant part and you've gotten significant attention for it. And like that's not the case for him, but I also understand why people think of him as a breakthrough.
Right. I do think,
which I think is wrong still.
I don't disagree. I'm taking the L. I do think that you could say like, because he's like the lead in Elvis, like it's his first lead in a movie, and that's why he's a breakthrough.
Yes, I agree about that.
So I guess that's what people are going with, but I agree. It's like kind of like the other problem, is then again, if you're putting him in breakthrough categories, he's probably going to win that breakthrough category because
like they're trying to like they're going to take him there, and I feel like that's why he hasn't won any Best Actor regional prizes.
Right, and I still have him winning Best Actor at the Oscars because there is no breakthrough award at the Oscars. So here's another one. Sadie writes, Chris, do you like Top Gun more than the Bold Type? And follow up with a link to one of my old TV Guide articles, Joyce. Do you think the Bold Type should have gotten
you FYC'd the Bold
Emmy
Type
nomination? I reread that article. You know who was a good writer? Me, at some point. I thought that's a good article. And
that was only 3 years ago.
Well, he's gotten way worse. I do think the Bold Type should have gotten Emmy nominations. I love the show, and a show like the Bold Type should be taken more seriously. I do not like Bold Type more than Top Gun, though. Top Gun was more elevated for me than the Bold Type. But
so if they made a Bold Type film, Oscar or no Oscar?
Maybe Oscar in the adapted screenplay category. I could see that, Joyce, this one's for you from Liam. What are your thoughts on Cillian Murphy's cheekbones in the Oppenheimer trailer?
Very sharp. And it's like he lost a ton of weight, and then it just also made his face longer too.
It did. I was actually
like glass.
How about the voice? I was impressed with his voice. I didn't expect him to sound like
Wild. That. I know they showed a different trailer in the IMAX, like the pre-Avatar IMAX screen.
Yeah.
So I think Matt Damon is more featured in that one, but this one is.
It sounded like, yeah, Matt Damon, and then whoever's playing Albert Einstein is featured in that IMAX trailer. I have not gotten to see it because I did not see Avatar again in IMAX yet, Joyce. But I'm really excited for Oppenheimer, as you might imagine. I can't wait.
What will you see first, Barbie or Oppenheimer? If
Barbie,
you don't,
probably.
let's just say you're not going to go to any screenings.
If I wasn't going to go to any screens, I would see Barbie. I'm more excited about that because
I feel like Barbie won the trailer round.
Barbie won the trailer round, and also, I mean, obviously they'll both have like bigger trailers when they come out. But there's, to me, like man, I can't wait to see Christopher Nolan set off an atomic bomb with practical effects. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, I get the idea. Like, you know what Oppenheimer is going to be, right? Like, and Barbie, I think, is still, I have no idea what they're going to do there. The fact that it's like Noah Baumbach and Greta writing a movie is automatically exciting to me together because I think they're so good together and their sensibilities match incredibly well. And I'm hoping it's a lot of a music, like way more of a musical than they're letting on. I kind of think it might be. Who knows?
I mean, there's dancing. They've talked about it, some of the actors. So.
And like, man, I love Margot Robbie and I love Ryan Gosling. So I'm like weighing on Barbie. I think it's going to be awesome, but I'm excited for both of them. I still can't believe they're coming out on the same day.
Because it's Warner Brothers retaliating at Chris for leaving them for Universal.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's so petty. I
love it.
Cannot believe it. Lauren writes, I know you've seen a few of this year's movies twice. Are there any movies this year that you won't see twice?
Ooh.
Joyce, I'll let you go first while I look at my list because I gotta.
I don't. Yeah, let me see. I mean, like I said before, I might not watch Happening again, but not because I hate it. It's just like,
right.
Yeah, like some movies are just, they're just kind of tough sits, even if like they're really good. Not gonna watch Amsterdam again.
I might pick that one too, actually. I don't think I really would want to revisit it. And I would say probably not going to go back to The Whale a second time.
Me either, probably. I understand why people like it, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to, like, what are you going to watch again? Like, and I watch everything again. But I'm like I mean, I wouldn't really want, like, I mean, this is not women talking. I don't see myself rushing back to watch again either, but I really liked it.
Yeah, that's another one. I would probably watch that again, but that's another one where I understand if you don't want to watch it again. Like it is like kind of, it's not very broad appealing. If you just want to sit down, you have a couple hours to just like chill and watch a movie.
Right. Another one. Megan writes, Michael Ausiello's spoiler alert is out. Joyce, were the TV Guide offices accurately depicted? And why do you think the EW era was skipped? I've not seen this movie yet, but I know you did. We both worked at TV Guide at different times. And
yeah, we never worked together there, which is very funny.
And I worked at EW after Michael Ausiello was there. So never crossed over with him at all. I've heard really good.
I worked at TV Guide right after Ausiello left TV Guide for EW. I was one of the replacements for him because he needed two people to replace him. We weren't replacing his actual role. Right. But it was just like two positions. But
I gotta say, I've heard really, really strong things about spoiler alert. I haven't seen it. It doesn't seem like, I mean, I'll probably see it when it comes to Peacock or whatever. It's a Focus release, so I'd imagine they'll put it out on streaming soon alongside the other Focus features movies of the year, including Armageddon Time and Tar, which I'm still waiting to see again on Peacock. But Joyce, you saw it. You liked it, I think.
Yeah, it's a nice, sweet romance comedy dramedy. Obviously it's adapted from his memoir that was released like 5 years ago about his husband who died from a rare form of cancer, and he had been with him for like 13 years. So like I wouldn't say like I'm like friends with Ausiello, but like, we know each other. Sure. We've hung out socially. So yeah, it's a very, I can see if people watch it, like I can see a lot of people liking the movie. I think it's well made for what it is. And so the TV Guide offices in the movie is another office. So it's not the two that I worked at, and certainly not the one that you worked at.
No.
And then they do skip his EW era, excuse me, because they do like a 10-year time jump, because the beginning is like when he and Kit meet, and then they do this time jump just with their Christmas cards. So it's also a great Christmas movie. So then it jumps to like, I think like 2013, 2014, And then by that time, he had already started TV Line.
Right. So the TV Line, it's like the TV Line logo in the movie and stuff. Sister
yes,
Say
it
TV
is.
Line. That's
so
great.
there's like a couple scenes of him interviewing people. So there's one of him in the TV Line offices. So they have the TV Line logo, and then there's one of him in a park interviewing someone like for TV Line. And I was talking to Matt Midovich, who's also at TV Line and who I actually did work with at TV Guide. And he was telling me, this was a couple months ago, but he was telling me like how he saw like the first 10 minutes. And like he was like, oh my god, like they like replicated the TV Guide logo and everything, and they also did like the TV Line logo, and he's like, and they were great, they were like perfect.
That's awesome. Like, not to spoil it, but are there real
spoiler alert?
Are there real TV like is Jim Parsons as Michael Lociello interviewing like real actors who we know as themselves? You know,
there's a lot of references.
Like he's not like interviewing Kerry Russell though.
But so Felicity is a big part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But like Kerry Russell's not in it, right? As herself?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
But there's a lot of like shout outs and like references to shows and actors and people.
I'm excited to watch it. I really am. And like Michael Schumacher too. I'm sure that one I absolutely will cry at. Absolutely. Joyce, this one I think is for you from Caitlin. What happened to Tobey Maguire's lips?
They have disappeared. So
I don't even get this one, Joyce. You'll have to explain it to me.
So I noticed this last year with Spider-Man No Way Home, which I loved, and he was great in.
Love him
as Peter too. But if you watch it again, which I also did just rewatch because it was on TV over the weekend, like his upper lip has kind of faded away.
I didn't even.
And then I noticed that again in Babylon.
Okay. I'm Googling this. I don't really understand. I don't understand lips. I guess maybe as you get older, your face changes. I guess that would be my take.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I guess a little.
It was just something I noticed last year, and now whenever I see photos of him, and again, love Tobey Maguire. Like I that's what I notice. You know, it's like when you notice something, you just notice it forever afterwards. Sure. Yeah.
I'm Googling Tobey Maguire Babylon. The first stuff that comes up is Tobey Maguire to play Charlie Chaplin in Babylon. Remember when people thought that was happening? Including me, probably, because we were just going off these stupid internet.
Definitely not Charlie Chaplin.
No. And then finally, Joyce, this one to both of us from Sam, who writes, how do you both feel about the Mets' chances next season now that Jacob deGrom is gone, but Justin Verlander has arrived? The day we're recording this, the Mets have officially signed Justin Verlander. He had his first introductory press conference earlier this morning. And yes, I did watch it on Twitter.
I did not watch it. I just
we haven't talked a lot about the Mets. I have a lot of thoughts.
Because but we also expected this past season the outcome. It was the Metsiest postseason ever.
So the vibes went sour. The vibes are great. Baseball is all about vibes. As a longtime fan, and if the vibes aren't good, you're done. And the Mets vibes throughout from March to September 1st were off the charts. This team is going to win the World Series. And then September 1st happened and they were in the tank. Just got done.
Yeah. And then they could have secured their slot and they didn't do that.
No.
And then no. Like when the fate was in their hands, they couldn't do it, which again, expected as usual.
Just fully choked with the three best pitchers on the staff. And two of whom have now been shot into space, Jacob deGrom and Chris Bassett.
Yeah, he's going to the Rangers. Sure, congratulations to him. And they're paying a buttload of money for him too. And this man is always injured. Love him, but he is always broken.
I couldn't wait for him to leave. I was thinking about this, Joyce, and I was like, I listen to a lot of sports radio and like read a lot of Mets Twitter. You'll be shocked to know that I'm like more into this than other stuff. And man, a lot of fans, I felt like Jacob deGrom is the Phantom Menace again of Mets fandom, where a lot of younger fans absolutely love him. Generational pitcher was their guy, whereas my guy is like Mike Piazza or even someone like sort of David Wright, but like Mike Piazza was like my ride or die.
I love David Wright.
And like deGrom kind of is like that that third tier, like younger fans, probably under 30, are like love him. And we're like, oh my God, he won 2 Cy Youngs. And I'm like, he's not any good anymore comparatively. Jacob deGrom, and he was
well again he's always injured.
He's always injured. He was rather pedestrian this past season. He won 5 games. The team won 101, and he labored through these big starts, including the one postseason win. He was like barely hanging on. He abandoned his fastball. I couldn't wait, and he didn't want to be here. He said from spring training how he couldn't wait to opt out. I understand it's a business, but like you couldn't just pretend that you want to be here. He didn't want to be here. Let him go. I'm so excited Justin Verlander is here. Him and Scherzer are great, and let's go. Steve Cohen, let's do it.
Yeah, because like not a huge Astros fan.
No, but I was very excited that they beat the Yankees, Joyce.
Oh yeah, for sure. That side, I was just like, this is just, like pick like the least most objectionable enemy, I guess. Like, yeah. But so yeah, now we have Justin.
I'm in on this, and Steve Cohen is gonna just keep spending money. He almost got Carlos Correa, Joyce. We could do a baseball
No one is
podcast.
listening to this anymore, by the way.
No, we could do a baseball podcast at the end next year, maybe. Maybe we could do
it for spring training, because that'll be right after the Oscars.
We should. I almost wanted to go to spring training, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work with the awards calendar because
so I mean, you already know this, but I was supposed to go to one of the last Mets games, but it was rained out. And then they gave us vouchers because they had a doubleheader the next either. It was vouchers for the next season. Right. So I have to figure out when I'm going this upcoming season.
Wow. I went to the last game of the season, which was
I know. I was supposed to go to the antepenultimate one.
Right. And we sat, me and my daughter went in the raining and cold and sat there for like a few innings, and it was fun. Joyce, that's it. That's all our emails. I'm really proud of our listeners and viewers for sending stuff in.
Yes, thank you for all your questions. And we didn't have to make up any.
No.
So
and
I know, sorry we didn't get to any of yours.
If we didn't get them, I'll tell you what, I save a lot of them. So we could always go back because we keep doing emails and stuff. But email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Tell us what you want to hear us talk about. But this is so much fun, Joyce. Happy New Year, since we're doing this.
Happy 2023.
The New Year's week. And I guess I'll talk to you again in 2023.
See you next year.
Okay, bye.